Well, guys, once again, good evening. Welcome to the second part of our session. We continue working on Unit 3. In this case, like the organization of the unit was a little bit different, probably compared to the other units. Tonight, we will be talking about crime and punishment, which actually is a topic that we studied already in B1.3. Of course, we're going to refresh our memory a little bit with that vocabulary. And on this, let's say, section in particular, we are also going to have a look at other grammatical component, which is continuous aspects in other tenses. Yesterday, we began talking about the narrative tenses with the idea of, I was telling you, more like to enrich the way we tell stories and anecdotes and make descriptions about past events. We can say whatever we want in past simple. That is something that we can't deny. But I was telling you the idea is to be more dynamic and a little bit more varied. Before I take attendance, we will be working on the information that we have on pages 30 and 31. Okay? So I'm going to take attendance in this moment so we can start. Gerson Yamida Arismendi.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Reiner Baez. Not here. Let me adjust one thing here. Okay. Jean-Claude Barrera.
Present.
Okay. Yesid Calderón.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Natalia Camargo.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Andrés Camilo Correa.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Andrés Corredor. Silvia Natalia Cuellar.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Johan Alberto Duque.
André Felipe.
Like 30 seconds ago, but yes. There you are, Andrés.
Present, teacher. Es que no me sonaba el micrófono.
Okay, there you are, Johan. Julián Jesús Figueroa. Julián Jesús. Let me see the chat. Yes, Andres, I had already called you a few moments ago. Well, Elkin is not here. Julia Jesus hasn't answered yet. Janet Valentina Fontecha.
Present, teacher.
Okay, Carlos Andrés Galán.
Present, teacher.
Here, teacher, sorry.
Okay, Julián. Okay, Carlos. Mabel y Juliet Gamboa. I don't see her here. José Alejandro Gómez. Not here yet. And Lizeth Carolina Tarazón.
Present, teacher.
There you are. Okay. Well, guys, as I was telling you tonight, we are going to be working on this topic, which is about crime and punishment. And also I was telling you that this is something that we have already studied in B1.3. Anyway, we're going to refresh our memory a little bit. So we're gonna play a very quick Kahoot. I'm gonna share here the code with you in the chat as well. There it is. And well, this Kahoot is related to vocabulary, precisely talking about crime and punishment. Probably you remember the different words and phrases related to that vocabulary that we studied in the previous cycle. Usually it was more connected, you know, to, or the main topic that we started in that moment was talking about modals in past, but that was part of the vocabulary that we studied. So I'm gonna give you like a minute maybe for you to take part of the game, and then we start. It is just like to refresh our memory, basically. Welcome, Mabel. Jan, Carlos, Natalia, Lisette, Jessette. We are about to be, we're supposed to be 13. Andrés, Johan, Silvia, Andrés, Jeanette, Jan, Carlos, Natalia, Lisette, Jessette. Ready?
No, teacher, no, pues.
Okay. Let's see how much we remember. A thief goes into your house through a window and steals your valuables. What's the name of that crime? Excellent, burglary. That's the name of that one. Very good. A child steals candy from a store. What's the name of that crime? It's shoplifting. Very good. Okay. Illegally bringing things across the border. Very good. The smuggling. Technically, you're not robbing anything. You're taking just illegal things. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Reset first. Very good. Throwing garbage on the ground. It's littering. Very good. That's like the specific name for that action in particular. Okay. The amount of time you have to spend in prison. That's the sentence. Very good. Okay, some changes, not many. To take a person and ask their family for money. That's kidnap. Okay. Some changes, some changes. A street crime in which they hit you and steal valuable things. Could be phone, sneakers. The hitting part is important here in this definition. That's mugging. Mugging always includes violence, okay? While in the other cases, for example, in the first one, maybe you don't even notice that that thing is happening to you. Mugging is that you get robbed with violence. Okay. Asking people to pay you in order to keep secrets. That's a very common one. Blackmailing, that's the one. Well, we had already, let's say, seen burglary. Remember that burglary always requires or it's related to breaking into places. It's more like buildings, houses, things like that. It changes, okay. Taking somebody's money, phone, object without their knowing. Very good. That is pickpocketing. Notice the difference. Well, Robert, remember that we said that it is more like the general definition, but being very specific on the type of crime would be this one. And remember that we have already seen mugging. Mugging always has violence included. In this case, you don't really notice that someone took something from your bag or your purse. No changes, no changes. If you break a rule, you have to pay a okay. You have to pay a price? No. In this case, it's fine. Guy, do you remember the meaning of fine in this context?
Multa, cuenta,
Multa. That's the one. Fee in this case is more like the amount of money. For example, if you go to the gym, to a membership thing, but specifically, like in this case, multa is fine, which is the word that we needed here. Okay. Giving money to police or government for a favor or to avoid a penalty. That's a bribe. Very good. What about to finish this Kahoot? Destruction of property. Absolutely. Illegal copying and use of software, music, films, etc. That's a very common one too. It's piracy. Well, we already talked about pickpocketing. Cheating. Okay, the final one. Illegally entering a computer server and doing damage. Another common one. That's hacking. Okay. The idea was to refresh our memory a little bit with vocabulary, like trying to remember things about crime and punishment. Sylvia, excellent. Andres, very good. And the leader during the whole Kahoot, it was Lisette. Great. The runners-up, Jean-Claude and Natalia. Well, guys, let me stop sharing this. Sorry. We're going to go back. Well, actually, we haven't really been here. We're going to have a look at the book. We're going to, let's say, answer this quiz. You know, once again, we're having a look at these two words. The question says, are you harsh or lenient? Guys, do you remember what we said about the meaning of harsh? What is harsh?
Duro.
Mm-hmm. A little bit like maybe very, very strict, right? And then we also said like the opposite is lenient, right? So what would be the meaning of lenient?
Flexible.
Mm-hmm. Flexible. That is like the intention of that word. Very good. So the idea basically is like to answer this quiz. I'm gonna ask some of you to read the questions and to give me your answer. Of course, everybody has a different opinion about everything. It is more like to expand a little bit, as usual. I'm gonna read these meanings in, let's say, introduction that we have in here. It says, take the punishment you think is most appropriate for each crime. Let's begin with question number 1. Jessit, could you read it, please?
Number 1, university student buys on easy online and submits is her own. The university recognizes the easy as plagiarism.
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 Plagiarism. She should receive a warning. She should be expelled. She should be prosecuted for fraud. Other what?
Well, Jessit, what's your opinion about it? Well, this is a very delicate and sensitive issue, but it's plagiarism.
The university should receive, the student should receive a warning.
Receive only a warning, Jessit?
Yes, or
what is your opinion?
Should be, maybe receive a warning and prosecute for fraud.
Okay. That would be it. Or would you like to add another, let's say, punishment in this case? Different from the ones that we have in the list.
Okay, school is expulsed or university.
Could you repeat?
Expulsed.
Expelled. That is the second one. Be expelled.
Expelled. Okay. Sorry. Expel? Yes, expel. Maybe the university should expel the student.
Maybe. I'm not like forcing you to choose that one. No, I was asking you if maybe there is another possibility different from the let's say, choices that we have in here, like
Okay,
if you wanted to add something else different from this one, but you consider that those are
you
okay?
should spell student. You should
You know, like the university.
be spelled.
You should be spelled. I see your point. Okay. Well, that's it. Thank you very much. Andres Correa, do you agree or disagree for number 1?
Yes, teacher, I 100% agree. She
About
should
being
be
spelled?
expelled. Yes.
Okay. Have you seen a situation like that, Andres?
Oh, I remember couples. No, I mean, when I was in university, one case happened about a student who buys a exam, and the university or their professor or recognized that she bought the exam and she was expelled.
Spelled. Oh my God. Yeah, that's the thing to do. Plagiarism is not a joke. Okay, Andres, thank you very much. Let's have a look at number 2. Andres Felipe, could you read it, please? The situation, all the choices, and the one that you would choose.
Number 2, 12 years old girl consistently pass trauma from school, plays trauma from school. The parents say that the children won't listen to them and they are powerless to help. She should be suspended. She should be expect. Her parents should be prosec-
Prosecuted.
prosecuted. Another what?
Okay, first let's start with the definition of plagiatront. What is that, guys?
Like a trauma?
Trauma?
No?
No, it's not related to trauma.
Mm-mm. Trauma. Trauma. No?
No, it's not trauma at all. Guys, well, you can help Andres, of course. What is the idea of that phrase, plagiatront?
Faltar
Ausentarse.
constantemente.
Exactly. When you, like, you don't go to class, like you are absent, but without permission, especially in this case that there is someone who is supposed to be at school. That is like the place where you are supposed to be. So that is the idea of plagiatront. 12-year-old. So Andres, which of these possibilities do you think are the best for a punishment, or maybe you have a different idea?
I think she should be suspended. No?
Well, this is your opinion, Andres.
No? I don't know. I remember the highest punishment in school is be suspended. No?
Okay. Let's see. Thank you, Andres. Sylvia, do you agree with Andres in number 2?
Wait, teacher. Can I read again?
Sure.
Because I was busy with something in my house, so I can't hear all that Andres said. Okay. Okay, a 12 years old girl consistently plays truant from school. The parents say that the child won't listen to them and they are powerless to help. She should be suspended. She should be expelled.
Held.
Expelled. Okay. Her parents should be prosecuted.
Prosecuted.
Prosecuted is like what, teacher? It's like, I don't know.
When people are sent like to court, so the judge makes the
Okay.
decisions.
Mm, I don't know. I I I I not agree with the options, the
I
three
don't
options.
agree.
I
Okay,
think
nice.
I don't agree. I don't agree. Yes,
Mhm.
I think the parents and in the school should to wait.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, teacher. Es que my brother is in the living room and yeah, he's listening music. So
Don't worry.
listening to music. I think the school and the parents have to like to open a case with the girl to try to understand why she's doing that. Like start to help her with, I don't know, psychologist uh, therapy or something to
Mhm.
try to understand her. I think is the best option for the
Mhm.
girl.
Okay, Sylvia, thank you very
Yes,
much.
teacher.
Yes, guys, if you think that it's a better idea, of course, the idea that you point that out. Let's have a look at question number 3. Carlos, could you read it, please?
Yes, teacher. Number 3, a family with 8 children are living in a quiet street. They are very noisy and their neighbors complain of antisocial behavior. They are renting their house. Fear auction, the family should be evicted.
Mhm. Evicted, yes.
Evicted. 2, the parents should be prosecuted.
Mhm.
3, the neighbors should learn to cope. Another
Mhm.
one.
Okay. What is the idea of be
Okay.
evicted, Carlos?
One moment, please. The second part of sentence, they are renting their house, is referred to the family.
Yeah, the family, yeah. It's not their own house. They are paying rent for it.
Okay.
Mhm.
And the third, the to cope is referred to what?
To cope, basically, is when you actually manage a situation that you learn to deal with it.
Maybe this auction. The neighbors should learn to cope
Mhm.
because it's a normal that children are noisy.
Hey, well, Carlos, thank you. Natalia, do you agree with Carlos?
Teacher, yes, I agree. But I think the first option is they should talk to the family to try to find a solution,
Mhm.
and that is not possible. They should be evicted.
Evicted.
Evicted. Yes,
Mhm.
teacher.
Very good.
Oh.
Can you remember the meaning of be evicted in this context, right? Well, the meaning in general. What is be evicted?
Desalojar.
Mhm.
Desalojar.
Yes,
Basically.
desalojar.
Very good. That's the one. Let's have a look at number 4. Elkin, could you read it, please?
Okay. 20-year-old man is arrested for drinking driving after causing a minor accident. Minor, okay. It's the first time he has been arrested. First, he should be let off with a warning. Second, he should lose his license. And third, he should be given 200 hours of community service. And finally,
Mhm.
other what?
License, Elkin. Not license,
License.
license. Very good. So what do you think?
For me, the second. And in Colombia, the law say that if you are arrested boy and you drink beer or some beverage, you could lose your license, excuse me, for 5 years, for about 5 years. I think that this is the best option for punishment.
Punishment. Okay, Elkin, so lose the license.
Yes.
That's it. No in-betweeners. Mabeli, did you agree with Elkin in number 4, like lose the license? That's it?
Not exactly, teacher. I think it will be a combination between the option number 2 and number 3. She should be let off with a warning, and she should be given 200 hours of community service, because I don't think it's fair that he lose his license. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mali. Let's have a look at situation number 5. Lisette, could you read it, please?
Okay, a homeless man is arrested for begging in the city center. The local laws do not allow begging, and he has been arrested several times for the same crime. He shouldn't be let off with a warning. He should be prosecuted. He should be fined. Okay, and other.
What do you think?
For me, I think he should be let off with a warning. I think they don't have to be harsh with him because he's homeless. And I think the government should help him instead. And he may not do this again.
Okay. Lisette, thank you very much. Jeanette, agree or disagree with Lisette's opinion?
Yes, teacher, I agree, because I think the third option is not easy, because it's a homeless, and he hasn't money to doesn't have money to pay, and if should be left off with a warning, she repeats the action.
He, no? Okay, Jeanette, thank you. Jean-Claude, could you read number 6, please?
Yes, sure. A student is arrested for writing political graffiti on a building. His parents should be called. He should have to pay for the damage. He should be prosecuted or other.
Should be called, the pronunciation. Okay, Jean-Claude, what do you think?
I think that they shouldn't do anything to the student. For me, is expression. The student wants give his opinion about a topic. So for me, it's normal. The people can give the opinion, and he don't hurt Oh, he doesn't hurt uh, anybody. Yes.
Okay, interesting, Jean-Claude. Do nothing. Julian Jesus, agree or disagree? Julian Jesus, what do you think? Agree? Do nothing or another possibility?
Between the three options.
Among the three options.
Okay. Because depend of the grade the grade of
the degree.
No, I don't. The amount of the drugs
The what?
amount
But we're talking about number 6, Julian.
Oh, okay. So
And actually, I was asking you, you agreed with Jean-Claude's opinion.
I didn't hear too.
Well, so from the choices that we have in here, what's your opinion?
For me, I think that his parents should be called because, well, is if he's just a student, he maybe couldn't pay for the damage, and I think because he's a minor crime, I think that his parents will be make the punish for him.
Minor crime. Okay, Julian, thank you. Jose, could you read 7, please?
Yes, teacher. Okay, a mother of 2 young children is charged with possession of illegal drugs and found guilty. 1. She should be sentenced to 6 months in jail. 2. She should be given a suspended sentence. And 3. Her children should be taken into care.
Okay.
Okay, teacher. I don't think it has much to do with being a mother or not. If possession of drugs gives 6 months in prison, they must be served. Well, authorities must take care of the children, but they she have to give the 6 months in prison.
Okay. Are you a lawyer? Jose, are you a lawyer, Jose?
No, teacher, no.
Okay, because it was like very precise on the description of the characteristics that you were given.
No, teacher, I suppose.
Okay, okay. You could sell it. That's, well, from my perspective, of course, because I don't know. Gerson, do you agree or disagree?
Teacher, I agree with him because he's a dangerous mother.
Okay.
Because she has a child with a child, so when child during the upbringings, child children they stab his mother So it's a bad example, no, but
Could be.
bad example for them.
Okay. Interesting, guys. Thank you very much. Of course, my intention was for you to provide your opinions, to ask you a little bit more. I know that sometimes I'm very annoying on those aspects, but my intention is always to help you improve the good level that you already have. Guys, going back to my presentation, we're going to move to a kind of speaking task, a speaking moment. It's going to be done collaboratively, of course. I want to send you to breakout rooms. The idea, guys, is that you're going to answer these two questions that we have in here. These questions are on the book, on page 30. The first question says, in which cases do you need to know more about the circumstances to make your decisions? Notice that in the situations that we read, we had some context that somehow, I dare to say, they helped you to make a decision in order to choose which was the best punishment. So probably in some cases, we need more information. In other cases, it's just like it is what it is. And well, in which circumstances should a judge be very lenient and be very harsh? The good thing is that we have already discussed the meaning of these two words. Of course, guys, the idea that you're going to summarize the answers given in your groups. Now, the idea, guys, is that also you're going to write one more situation similar to the ones that we had in the quiz, right? Let me go back to the book. Well, you already have it, of course. You're going to create something similar to this kind of quiz that we had, but only one question. You don't have to create 7. Then that means that the class will be already, let's say, over thanks to all these things. Create one question more, like with a situation similar to the ones that we had in here, and the possibilities that, in your opinion, would be good, like for a punishment. I am not gonna send you like a link to write down that information. In this case, you will be doing that in your groups. The idea, guys, is that when we get back, we're going to do 2 things. Number 1, of course, to share the summary of the questions. Number 2, to have a look at that question that you created, similar to the quiz that we just took. Okay? Guys, do you have any questions about the instructions? Uy, ¿qué pasó? Sorry. Questions?
Teacher, are just two situations that
No, only one. I
one?
had already
Okay.
changed it. Yeah.
Okay.
With the answer of only one. Yeah, because other then time wouldn't work on our side. And we have to talk about a grammatical component. That is a summary, but I prefer to have enough time and not to run at the end of the session. So only one. Okay?
Okay, teacher.
Good. Well, guys, in total, you're going to have 20 minutes. We already know that 20 minutes look like a lot of time, but they aren't. Remember, I am not sending you a link. You are going to open a document where you can now work collaboratively. Anyway, tonight we only have 4 groups, so it would be really fast to check what you have shared in your groups. We don't have repeated accounts tonight, right? Okay, let's go. Okay. Well, guys, welcome back. Let's socialize your answers. Remember that the idea was to answer these two questions that we had in here, and then to create a new question similar to the one that we did on the quiz at the beginning of the session. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I invite, let's begin with group number 3. First, well, to share your screen, basically. In group number 3, we had Andres Felipe, Johan, Jose, and Silvia Natalia. So who's going to share a screen? Group number 3.
Who are the participants of interview?
André Felipe Corredor, Johan Duque, José Gómez, Silvia Natalia Cuellar.
Okay, ya, Andrés.
There you are.
This we have. Okay. In which case do you need to know more about the circumstance to make your decision? We discuss and we write when it withdraw when it is complex situation and the decision involve more than one person. For example, a problematic situation when make a decision in a trial could be when the evidence present is insufficient or contradictory. Make it difficult to determine the truth of the matter.
Determine, okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, Andres, what about the
Here?
second question? Yes, please.
Okay. In what circumstance should a judge should a judge be
Lenient.
lenient or hostile?
Harsh.
Harsh. Lenient or harsh? When the situation holds people or animals, like murder or terrorists or sexual abuse, it should be harsh and linear when it doesn't involve all those involve all those things what I mentioned.
Okay. Johan, could you read the question that you created in your group number 3, please?
I leave the sharing my screen. Yes.
Yeah, we need to see the question.
Repeat, please.
About the question, Andres, we need to see it.
Okay.
Okay. Repeat, teacher.
Yeah, I was asking you to read the question that you created. As a group, of course.
Okay.
The second point.
Sorry?
Because the idea was to create that one question similar to the quiz that you guys took at the beginning of the session.
Because all those we create by discussion.
I don't get it. Could you repeat?
We make this template all together.
But it's not like the question of the quiz.
Yes, teacher, we create the situation, but now an option, different options to decide.
The idea was to make like the options. Okay. Let me see the situation, guys.
Okay. when a criminal gives testimony against many people, the judge must decide what to believe from the point of the view of the criminal. The judge must require the authorities to confirm the information so that the decision may are the most responsible. The
Responsible.
most responsible.
It
We
is 50%.
Yes, we did that because I think today there was in a news the testimony of the ex paramilitar. They say that he have received support from many highest political person in Colombia. So that was our motivation.
Yeah, well, the idea was to create the question. I would really like to see the possibilities. Well, guys, thank you. Okay, Sylvia, hopefully it's not something problematic. Let's have a look at group, number 1. In group number 1, we have Julian Jesus, Lisette, Mavely, and Natalia. Who's going to share a screen?
Me, teacher.
Okay, Lisette, thank you. It's loading. There it is.
Okay. For the first question, in which cases do you need to more about the circumstances to make a decision? We decide that the case of the 12-year-old girl who consistently plays truant from school because we don't know the background of the situation. For example, if the girl is suffering bullying or maybe she's being harassed by a teacher or a classmate, and we should investigate the situation to make a decision. For the second question, in what circumstances a judge should be lenient? For this, with the case of the homeless, because he doesn't have a job or a house, and if he is begging, is because he doesn't have the resources to live, and the government should help him instead. And in what circumstances, excuse me, should a judge be harsh? We think that a judge should be harsh with the mother for possession of illegal drugs because she is not a life model, a model for their children, and she doesn't give them a good environment to grow up. And authorities should take care of the children and provide them with well-being.
Okay.
Our case is a doctor made a mistake during a surgery and it ended in the worst way. The hospital investigated and found him guilty. What should be the punishment for the doctor? A, he should lose his job. B, he should lose his medical license. C, he should be sentenced. And D, he should receive a warning. Or E, A, B, and C.
Okay, very good. Interesting case. Don't stop sharing your screen yet, Lisette. Well, I'm sure that you decided the situation and you discussed it a little bit. Natalia, because you are part of group 1, what would be your answer in this situation? What would you choose?
Okay, teacher. For me, I choose E, A, B, and C. She should lose his job, his medical license, and be sentenced.
Okay. Very good, group number 1. Thank you very much. Well done. Let's go now with group number 4. We have Elkin, Jeanette, and Jean-Claude. who's going to share a screen from you guys?
Okay, teacher.
Good.
Mm, okay.
Jean-Claude, zoom in, please.
Mm,
Thank you.
for the question number one, in the case number two, it's necessary to know the girl's reason to place run from school. It could be a problem with some teacher or some psychological problem that she's going through.
Psychological.
We think that in the case number 5 of the book, the rest of a homeless person raises questions about the legality and morality of laws that criminalize poverty and homelessness. We will never stand for this kind of injustice. We should be helping the homeless, not punishing them. Arresting someone for begging may not be the most effective solution to address homelessness and poverty. For the question number 2, in some cases, such as cases number 2, number 3, and number 5, judge may need to be more lenient considering the situations of these defendants, because these situations don't have aggravating factors such as severity of the crime, impact of the crime on the victim or society. Thus are minor crimes.
Aggravating y minor, Jean-Claude, in pronunciation. Okay, interesting answer.
Okay, and number 3, our situation is a young man who is sitting in a park eating is searched by the police. The police found that the young man had kept a marijuana cigarette. The options: A, the young man should be taken to the jail. B, the young man should be fined. C, the fined. C, the young man must pay with social work. And D, other option.
Okay, Jean-Claude, and of course, group number 4. Jeanette, what would be the answer for that question? The one that you discussed with Elkin and Jean-Claude.
Teacher, I think the young man must be paid with social work, but because it's only for he is for him is a little um, how can I say cantidad?
Quantity.
Quantity, yes.
Okay, great, Jeanette. Thank you very much. Well, of course, last but not least, we have group number 2. In group number 2, we have Andres, Carlos, Gerson, and Jessit. So which one of you guys will share a screen? Group number 2.
Okay, teacher, me.
Thank you, Gerson.
Yeah. Sharing, just it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Me? Okay, teacher. Question number one. In case number, in which case do you need to know more about this related to make your decision? In case number one and case number two. In the first case, I need more information. The information is not clear what the consequences of plagiarism are at the university. If I need a take a decision. In case number two, it's not clear why the girl is not attending school and what measures have been taken to solve the situation. If I take a decision. In question number two, in what circumstances should adults be very lenient or harsh? In case number four, number 5, 6, and 7. The first number, in case number 4, the youths should be very harsh because the accident will be more serious and affect the life of other person, life of another person. It's a circumstance that shouldn't be considered minor.
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 Okay. Minor.
In the case number 5, the youth should be very lenient because the homeless don't have a home, job, and no money to pay a fine.
Okay.
In case number 6, the youth should be lenient because the student has the right to express politically.
Okay.
And definitely in the case number 7, the youth should be very harsh because the mother shouldn't expose her children to illegal drugs.
Illegal.
Illegal drugs. For the third question, what situation is in a company, an employer is caught stealing office supplies for personal use at home.
Employer or employee? You said employer, but it says employee. Okay.
Sorry. An employee of a company. Possible responses. A. He should receive a warning and be asked to return the stolen supplies.
Supplies. Receive and supplies.
Supply. And B. He should be fired from the company. Number C. He should be reported to the police for theft.
Theft.
And the theft. And the another appropriate punishment could be financial restitution and community service.
Restitution. Okay. Well, Carlos, this was the question that you guys discussed in group number 2. What would be your answer?
Yes, teacher, maybe B. He should be fired from the company.
No warnings. That's it. Okay. Well, guys, thank you very much. Interesting situations, of course. As you notice, the idea was like to recycle a lot of vocabulary and a lot of information, especially talking about the crimes and punishments. And as usual, a few things, very few things of pronunciation. I hope that you don't get annoyed by those things. Okay. We're going to review that grammatical component that we were I was telling you at the beginning of the session. And before we actually refresh our memory with this grammatical information, well, these images that we have in here are on the book. They are located on page 31. I just put them all together so it was easier for us to have a look at them and of course to get the answer. The instruction says, choose the best answer to complete the cartoons. I want you to have a look at the images, let's say very carefully, and to analyze the situations that are happening. Notice that in both cases, we have, let's say in general aspects, two possibilities. One possibility is in a simple form, and the other possibility is in a progressive form. So look at the situations, look at the images, of course, look at the verbs. We will see like those characteristics in specific in a moment, but as I told you, we are refreshing our memory, and then we are going to check, okay? Choose one of the tenses. Guys, do you have any questions about the instructions?
Yes, teacher, I have a problem with my internet. I don't listen the information.
You didn't listen? Don't worry, Carlos. The idea basically is to choose the correct conjugation of the verb. In all the cartoons, we have one verb that is in simple form and one verb that is in continuous form. So the idea is to decide which is the correct one. Okay. Well, guys, we have 4 cartoons. I'm going to give you 4 minutes, starting now. Let's see. Well, What do you have in number 1, Elkin? Could you read the whole statement, please?
First, I'm really upset. I paid for an excuse me, but I've lost the receipt.
Upset. I've lost. Very good. In this case, talking about simple form. What about number 2, Lisette?
Hello?
Hello, Lisette.
Okay. 5 minutes from now, our friends on Facebook will be reading all about this.
Very good. Let's have a look at number 3. What do you have in that one, Jose, please? Jose? It's here, but it's not here. Gerson, what do you have in number 3?
Okay, teacher. Number 3. I think you've been spelling her name wrong.
Why progressive? If we look at the, sorry for the interruption for the moment, Gerson. If we look at the image, is he still like doing the graffiti or the graffiti is finished?
The graffiti is done. Finish. So spell, teacher.
Yes, that is why I was telling you, look at the picture. In some cases, that will be like the, let's say the deal breaker. And
When say spelling, I confuse because I think they were talk about the graffiti.
they were talking?
Yes. So for this, I think was spelling.
Okay, now. What is the meaning of spelling?
Spelling, spell.
Como deletrear.
Eso, por ese lado. Okay, yeah, no. In this case, let's keep it like in a simple tense. And Magali, what about number 4?
Stay away or you will break it.
Could you repeat?
Stay away or you will break it.
Okay, you separated. Yes. Very good.
Break it.
Yeah, could be you will or you'll, whatever you prefer. In this case, the simple form. Very good. Well, guys, once again, we are just refreshing our memory about different tenses. Yesterday, we were talking about the narrative ones, and we said, like to summarize it a little bit more, that first of all, the narrative are tenses from the past. Let's put it like that. And we use them for anecdotes, for descriptions, basically to tell stories. Which are those narrative tenses? Do you remember the 4 that we studied yesterday, Gerson?
Sorry, teacher.
Do you remember the 4 tenses that we reviewed yesterday? Because you are already familiar with them.
4 tenses yesterday?
The ones that you was, yeah. That you used to create a story. Well, I know that you have a lot of information every day, but which were the 4 tenses?
Okay, about the last activity that we create a story. Yes, teacher.
So which were the 4 grammatical tenses? Gerson.
Sí, teacher. Yes, teacher. I remember this.
But tell me the names, Gerson.
The names. But the grammatical, the past simple.
Yes, Gerson. Past simple.
Past simple, past continuous,
Mhm.
past participle, past
Mm-mm-mm-mm. Past participle is a verb. Let's, Natalia raise her hand so she can help you a little bit, Gerson. Don't worry. I don't want you to feel that I was like hunting you or something like that.
Teacher, past simple, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous.
Very good. Those were the ones that talk about past. Thank you, Gerson, of course, and Natalia, that you also helped us to refresh our memory a little bit. Now, yesterday were like a combination of simple and continuous tenses. There are other continuous tenses that we can also use. We're going to focus our attention a little bit on them. If we are talking about continuous tenses, we can talk about the three big ones: present continuous, present perfect continuous, and future continuous. Okay, as you notice in this case, we are not talking about the past, because you may be thinking, come on, but where is past continuous? Yeah, past continuous was like yesterday, you know, because we were talking about the narrative tenses. In this case, we're talking about the continuous one in other tenses. Present, like in this moment, present perfect, and then future continuous. One of the things that we discussed, let's say discussed yesterday, was the fact that when we're using continuous forms, we will always need the verb to be in different versions. Actually, is the verb to be the one that is telling us where that tense belongs. It may look obvious a little bit. For example, if we say he is working, thanks to is, I know that this is present, right? The one from yesterday. Thanks to the words was or were, we knew that it was in past. For perfect tenses, we had has been. What is the other auxiliary? We have has, and the other one is, sorry. What is the other one? Have, very good. Have or has, but we have to include been. It is an obligation. And if we're talking about future, well, you know that will is probably the most common representative, and again, be. All the tenses for continuous aspects, of course, require the verb to be, let's say, in different versions to respect the tense that they are representing. Is for present, has been for perfect, and will be for future. Oh, well, of course, the verb with ing. That is telling us that the action is in progress. Because we are not talking about the tense in particular, we're talking about the essence of being continuous. That means that we are talking about verbs that or situations that basically describe duration or repetition. Now, probably you remember from A2 that not all verbs go with continuous form. There are some verbs that are considered stative verbs. In those cases, we use the simple form. For example, the case of understand, the case of need, the case of like. Guys, it's very important that we don't, let's say, rely on Spanish, you know, because in Spanish, we actually use these verbs in continuous form. I'm going to say it in Spanish just in case. We say entendiendo, necesitando, y gustando. And in our first language, it works fine. For us, it is normal to consider that those, let's say, feelings and sensations go in progress. But in English, these ideas are considered to be states, and a state is or isn't. We can't put it into progress. Once again, I'm talking about like the very strict grammatical structure. I always repeat the same. Probably, guys, the ones that have already traveled or the ones that have friends abroad, probably you have already seen people using these verbs in progressive forms. But this is like, let's say, how it is grammatically correct, how it is supposed to be used, you know, in the academic context. But, you know, in a very informal conversation, probably chatting with friends, it wouldn't be like crazy to listen to a person saying understanding or needing or liking. But once again, this in our context right now is a very academic one. So we're going to require you to use it in the correct form. So let's say that in conclusion on this part, if the verb is a stative verb, let's not use it in continuous form. This information that we have in here, or that I put in here, actually is the same that you have on your book. Just wanted to expand a little bit more. We already know that the continuous form probably has the most common definition, that is the second one. Something that is in progress, but it is not complete. That is why, let me go back here to the cartoon. I was telling, I don't remember, I guess it was Gerson, like, okay, if we look at the image, is the graffiti finished? Or maybe the graffiti is still in progress? In this case, it was already finished. So if it is already finished, that means that we have to use a simple form. But if the action is still in progress and we see that it is not complete, there is an opportunity to talk about a progressive tense. Also, one of the characteristics that the progressive tenses have is that they are temporary. Like probably the typical use of present continuous. We can say that in this moment, we are studying English, but in 4 minutes, we're going to stop. This is a very temporary situation, right? So it doesn't matter, let's put it like that, if we're talking about present, if we're talking about a perfect tense, if we're talking about future, there are very, let's say, essential characteristics that they have that they remain. And well, first of all, don't forget that if we are talking about stative verbs, we should, like very should, use only simple tenses. And if we are talking about, this is something extra that we have on our book, the number of times that an action happens, we use it in simple form. When we say a number of times, that means that is a certain frequency. And as you remember, when we're talking about frequency, usually it refers, to a simple tense. Okay? Natalia, yes.
Teacher, I don't understand the difference of future future simple and future continuous. Would you explain?
Sure. Well, the difference is actually is not that dramatic. Probably if we talk about present and past, right? With future continuous, what we want to do is to make sure that the other person knows that the action is going to be in progress in the future. Let's say that by next weekend, you will be reading a book. So the idea in that moment is that you want to make sure that that progress or that progression is going to be present for the other person. The difference is, anyway, we're talking about future, but the idea is to show progression on that action. You are not talking about an action finished in the future. Like, for example, you said, I will finish university in 2 years. The idea is that the action is complete, right? But if you say, I will be finishing, that makes it like a progression. The difference is minimum, actually. It is more like in terms of perspective. You want it to look finished or you want it to look in progress?
Okay, teacher, and in the example, the first example in Spanish, yo, yo pienso que veré la película mañana. ¿Esa es la traducción?
Yo creo que veré la película mañana, sí.
Ok, y la segunda sería, no me llames, estaré viendo una película.
Exacto.
Pero estaré viéndola en el futuro, no en ese momento.
Exacto.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, teacher. Thank you very much.
Good. And notice that in the 2 sentences, I mean, you choose whatever you want depending on your intention. Like, you decide if you want it to look like a finished thing or if you want it to look it like in progression. Of course, because maybe I'm sure that you are thinking on those activities like that we have to choose the verb, you know? We always need context. It is like absolutely necessary. Otherwise, any combination is correct, of course. But when we have context, then we see which is the best choice. Like in this case, I'm pointing out that the action is going to be progressive, not finished. Well, guys, I'm talking about actions and these things because we are about to leave. We're going to have a mini homework for tomorrow. Anyway, these are tenses that are part of our lives. It says practice, it says work in pairs, but you're going to do it individually, or maybe if you want to contact each other in your WhatsApp group to have a look at this information. The idea, guys, is that you're going to choose the best answer to complete the conversations. It says give reasons, but it's not necessary. So notice that this is not just like the typical exercise to choose the verbs. In all the situations, we have context. Notice like a conversation, A, B, A, B, A, B. And thanks to that context, we can make like a better and informed decision of which is the correct tense to complete the statements. All of them are pretty similar. We have the simple form and the continuous form. So make sure to read the situations to choose the best form of the tenses. Remember, although let's say the core of this grammatical part was talking about the continuous, it doesn't mean that all the answers are continuous. Read them carefully in order to choose. So this practice that we have in here is going to be our homework for tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
Okay, teacher.
Okay.
Guys, as usual, thank you very much. Have a good night and see you tomorrow. Don't forget the homework. Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher. Thank you.
Take care,
Bye,
everybody.
teacher. Thank you.
Teacher.